deserving of blame.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, disobedience to the provision of Section 17, first sentence, do you consider that as deserving of blame?
If it is intentional, Your Honor,
No.
then definitely.
It does not call for any intent. Where in that provision will you find intent?
Well, I think this is the provision or a statement as may be required by law, Your Honor. Saan yung portion?
Anyway, I'm asking this question for our guidance. For our guidance, as based on your opinion, both sides. I would like to hear both sides about this. What is the position of the prosecution? Can you help us in dividing what is culpa?
Well, when it comes to refer to culpable violation of the Constitution, Mr. President, according to the records of the Constitutional Commission, culpable violation of the Constitution is understood to mean willful and intentional violation of the Constitution and not violation committed unintentionally or involuntarily or in good faith or through an honest mistake of judgment. And it implies deliberate intent, perhaps even a degree of perversity, for it is not easy to imagine that individuals in the category of these officials would go so far as to defy knowingly what the Constitution commands. That is what the records of the Constitutional Commission defines or show what culpable violation is, Mr. President.
All right. Thank you very much. I have no more question. I do not know about the other members of the court if they have any questions.
Mr. President,
Majority Floor Leader.
the court is ready to retire, Mr. President.
All right.
So may I ask that the Sergeant at Arms make an announcement?
Please all rise. All persons are commanded to remain in their places until the Senate President and the Senators have left the session hall.
Mr. President, there being no other business for the day, I move that we adjourn until 2 o'clock in the afternoon of Tuesday, May 29, 2012.
Any objection? The motion of the Majority Floor Leader is approved.
First question po. We know you're raring to ask the men of the hour, so we'll dispense with any preliminary remarks po at please proceed straight to the questions. Ho.
Sir, Weng po ng DCWB, kayo po ba'y kumbinsido na nakumbinsin ninyo ang Senator Judges?
Para sa amin, malakas yung ebidensya na ipresenta namin sa Senado. At para sa amin yung oral arguments or closing arguments ay nagbigay lalong liwanag dun sa mga argumento at ebidensya. So, kami ay malaking paniniwala namin, no, na because of the strong evidence at yung katapusan itong oral arguments na makukumbinsi namin ang mga senador. Pero as to the votes itself, maghihintay na lang kami bukas because bukas pa ang botohan. We thought na after the closing arguments magkakabotohan, pero kanina ang decision is tomorrow.
Sir, Cara David po, Channel 7. Kanina po pinupunto ng depensa na may conflict daw dun sa batas ng SALN at saka dun sa Foreign Currency Deposits Act. Tapos ang sinasabi nila, may conflict nga daw at hindi daw madedeklara na unconstitutional. Pero kayo po, ang sinasabi ninyo, walang conflict yung dalawang batas na ito. Kayo po ba dinedeclare ninyo yung inyong mga dollar deposits kung meron man?
Una muna, bago si Congressman Fariñas. Una, kanina nagtataka kami bakit ilang minuto ang inubos ng defense just to rebut yung sinasabi nilang allegedly sinabi raw ng prosecution na unconstitutional ang Republic Act 6426. Ito yung Foreign Currency Deposits Act. Gusto lang po namin linyawin na sa speech ko po, sa speech ni Congressman Fariñas, ang sinasabi namin, wala kami sinasabing unconstitutional ang Republic Act 6426. That's clear. Ang sinasabi lang namin na yung 6426 is not applicable in the case at bar. Ibig sabihin, ang applicable dito is the constitutional provision, Article 11, Section 17, and the Sal-in Law, which is 6713 RA. Hindi dito applicable, walang prohibition, di ba? At naliwanag yon nung nagtanong pa si Senate President Enrile. Tapos yung second question, with respect naman dun sa dollar, ako, personally, meron akong dolyar, pero maliit na maliit lang. Naka-declare. Kasi ang ginagawa ko sa sarili ko, yung dollar, kino-convert ko sa peso. At ang declaration ko is peso. Congressman Fariñas?
Of course, naka-declare lahat yung akin. Malaki dahil commingled. Ang dami-dami namin. Dami-dami namin umahawak nun. Kaya malaki-laki dahil commingled. Pero yung akin, commingled, pero naka-declare. Yung iba, peso. Peso, it's hard. Peso yun, may dollar ako. Siguro sa ngayon, nasa $6,000. Oh. Hindi, I don't maintain dollars because very unstable, unlike what the Chief Justice is saying. Before, nasa 56, ngayon, nasa 45. And then they say, it's going down. And as a public official, we have to learn to love our own currency. Di ba? Oo. We only buy when you go out and everything, but I don't maintain mababa pa ang interest.
So, sir, yung $6,000 that you have, is it declared in your SAL-N as dollars or you converted it to pesos?
Peso. It's declared as peso. Kasi cash, it's cash. You convert it.
May we ask the Speaker about... Speaker, yung question po kanina, yung tungkol po dun sa conflict daw po, kasi may conflict daw, sabi ng depensa, yung SAL-N at saka yung Foreign Currency Deposits Law. The question is, ano yung position ninyo doon? And second is, if you have dollar deposits, do you declare it in your SAL-N?
The money, yes. Not necessarily in dollars, but the value is yes. Oh. Yeah. At saka isa pa, remember this, I don't think there is any requirement na sasabihin mo PNB branch 1 or anything like that. Yung sinasabi mo lang na ito yung dollars ko, di mo naman sinasabi kung nandito ito sa bangko ito, nandito sa bangko ito. But you have to declare that. You have to at least be open about it. And that was my whole point lang. I was really listening to the legal arguments, which I have to admit are quite good for ordinarily, But I was really amazed that a Chief Justice with that much cash can actually get away with it without, yun ang talagang I was really, kung meron kang $2,000, $3,000, I think it's too much to expect that you will remember that. But when you have 2.4 million, and I think that is his own estimate, because actually people who were trying to analyze the ins and outs of the AMLA report come to the conclusion that if you put in everything that came out and then everything that came in, that went in, considerable yung money yan, without even talking about was there a balance, a starting balance at all or not. Marami mga kunyon. But anyway, it wasn't necessary to discuss all of that. Basta ako lang, I could not hide myself, prevent myself from sounding incredulous that you can actually do that.
Sa ambush. ambush.
Wala daw ambush. Magtanong na kayo.
Sakasakali ho na magkaroon ng konbiksyon, alam natin na merong petisyon ngayon sa Korte Suprema na nakabinbin ukol dun sa question doon sa validity ng articles of impeachment dahil sa hindi pag-comply sa ilang mga verification requirements. Sakasakali lamang po na lumabas ang resolusyon at lumabas na hindi nga valid yung mga artikulo. Ano ang mangyayari sa pagod nyo?
Well, unang-una, wala kaming inaasahan na yung explicit act of 188. And in fact, it's not 188, it's 201. Meron 13 humahabol na nag-file. Pinadala rin namin sa Senate yung kanilang mga pangalan, pero mas maganda pakinggan yung 188 kaya naging 188 instead of 2001. But you know, I really cannot see how you could ignore that. The fact that it was much more than what was required. No? And mind you, wala ni isa do sa 201 na yun na nagsabi, nagkamali ako, hindi ko naintindihan yung ginawa kong yan. Not a one. It's just the speculation of some people. But you know who they are. 201 of them. Sabi mo sa akin, meron bang isa nagsabi riyan na nagkamali ako ron, na sana hindi ko pinirmahan yan? No. Kaya all of those considerations really will weigh on the minds of people who are called upon to I don't think anybody can pass upon, but assuming that it can be passed upon, I think that will weigh very heavily on the mind of the people who would.
Dagdagan ko lang doon yung sa katanungan, di ba? Just in case, yung isang tanong doon na, just in case ang Supreme Court, merong desisyon, yan ba yung tanong? Yes. Yan, gusto ko lang linawin na simula nung umpisa ng proceeding day 1, hanggang day 43 na ata ngayon tayo, di ba? Very, very consistent ang rulings, pronouncement by the Senate, through the Senate President, na dun sa Article 11 ng Constitution ay yung sole power to try and decide cases of impeachment ay sa Senado lang. In fact, kung sakasakali bukas magkakaroon ng desisyon, at kahit conviction or acquittal, hindi nga pwede mag-motion for reconsideration. There's no motion for reconsideration. Lalo na, pag wala na ibang constitutional body except solely yan ang Senado lang. At we are relying on those statements and pronouncement by the Senate kasi yun talaga ang paniniwala namin bilang prosecutor. So, tingin ko, hindi hantong doon kasi very, very clear ang Constitution na ang power is just sa Senado lang.
Sir, there are reports na ngayon parang sinasabi ng defense na kapag ka na-convict si CJ, there is a possibility na iakyat to sa Supreme Court, iapela.
Kanina sinabi yon, tinanong ni Senate President Enrile. At inamin naman ni Justice Cuevas yung interview niya kay Weng Salvacion. Saan si Weng? Interview sa'yo kahapon.
Sikat na sikat si Weng.
So, inamin niya na meron silang plano. Pero kami naman, di ba sinasabi naman namin, first day pa lang na kung ganun ka na, kung hindi favorable sa'yo, tapos pupunta ka sa iyong home court, nasaan doon yung good faith on the part of the respondent?
Check ni Chief Justice yung conviction. Anong gagawin niyo?
Kama na, Rudy.
Can he reject?
There will be a crisis. Tomorrow, halimbawa, hindi
Right niya yun, i-reject. Right niya yun, to reject. And it's also our right to reject his rejection. Di ba?
Ano mangyayari doon, sir?
Wala, tuloy-tuloy yung denial stage yan. Puro siya denial. Puro palusot. Tapos na. Kasi nung nakalusot siya as Chief Justice, akala niya pwede lang lusot ng lusot. Hindi naman pwede.
Paano kung nakaupo pa din siya, sir?
Masyadong malayo na yung mga... It won't happen. It won't happen.
Ito, ang majority leader probably can answer that.
Yeah.
Tatawag kayo ng armed forces?
No, akin, on the practical side lang, in the event na ma-convict si Chief Justice at sabi nila, plano nila, tumakbo. Pero ang tanong dyan pag na-convict siya, ang judgment niyan is removal. Hindi ko lang alam kung meron pang matatapang na mga matitirang mga justices diyan nakakampi pa sa kanya. Iyon lang. Iyon na lang ang hintayin natin. Kung may mga matatapang pa na kasi ang kakailanganin niya at the very least is restraining order. Para maipatigil yung judgment, di ba? Doon pa lang, ako'y nangangamba na baka by that time wala nang kakampi si Chief Justice ng mga kasama dito sa... Yun na. Hindi, sabihin, sa'yo, nag-speculate ka. I'm also speculating. Diba? Nag-speculate ka na ako. Ang speculation ko, by that time, baka wala na siya mga kakampi.
Pwede kong dagdagan yan. Magmamakaawa kami sa Supreme Court na huwag na dahil gusto na magpahinga na.
I think the Chief Justice has also stated na he would accept the judgment of the Senate. So let us just rely on his statement rather than I rather believe what he said.
Sir, the question po is for the Speaker. Sir, what made you decide na parang last minute na biglang sumali kayo dun sa oral arguments?
Sumali.
Baka siguro ako dapat ang sumagot nun. Diba? Si Speaker has been, from the very beginning, the leader of this prosecution panel. I'm the leader here, but the leader of the House is the Speaker and very, very supportive from day one. Nung time na, naalala ko yung day 2 Yung day 2 na hindi kami nakapag-present ng evidence dahil wala kaming witness. We were down at the time. The following day, no morning, nakita ko yung mukha ni Speaker dun sa Pendato and Majority Leader. Biglang nabigyan kami na ulit ng inspiration ang prosecution. And to us, dito sa closing arguments, nag-meeting kami ng mga sa prosecution team, sila Congressman Rudy Fariñas, si Manager Jun Abaya. And we decided that there will be 3 speakers. Wala namang question dun sa first and second because the first will be the chief prosecutor and the second will be the deputy chief prosecutor. But we need someone to close the argument. We need someone who can best represent the institution, which is the House of Representatives. At wala nang makaka-represent pa but the Speaker of the House. We convince him. Kasi nung una si Speaker, medyo sabi niya, pwede siguro kayo na prosecution. Pero we convince him na, Speaker, this is not just prosecution, but this is already the House of Representatives. Kaya kanina, pumayag. Kaya natutuwa naman yung prosecution na si Speaker made or closed the arguments for us.
Sir, isa pa sa mga argument kanina ng defense is that a lapse in judgment or lapse ba ang sinabi, or mistake in judgment is not an impeachable offense?
Alam mo, when you have taken the policy from day one that you entered the government of withholding from your SALN certain assets, like for instance the foreign exchange, which virtually from even before he entered the government, he was already accumulating them. Kung yun, hindi mistake of judgment yun. That is your call. Yun talaga ang desisyon na gawa mo. At any time in this stage, you could actually abandon that. Pero yun ang ginawa mo. Yun ang itinago mo na talaga all the way.
So hindi yun mistake? No, definitely.
You said it, palusot. Nahuli lang Kaya nga, at the height of inconsistency, sabi niya, he doesn't trust the peso, he trusts nagtitiwala siya sa dolyar dahil matatag, pero nakikita mo naman, may 80 million pesos sila. Pagkatapos, kumingle daw yon, bakit hindi ibili ng dollar? Pagkatapos, ang laki-laki ng pera, ang dami naman niyang utang. Meron ba't siya babali sa Basagidote? All of these things, talagang palusot lahat.
Sir Stephanie yung Kiko Solar News. Sir, yung isa sa mga arguments na ni-raise ng defense a while ago is bakit po yung mga sinabi niyo po kung Rudy dun sa oral arguments kanina, hindi po ni-raise sa cross-examination. Bakit nga ba po, sir? Hindi po ni-raise yun sa cross-examination?
Kasi ang cross-examination, nakita mo naman yung state of health niya noon. Magiging parang unkind kami. I'm sure nakita nyo when Senator Chis Escudero was asking him questions, he even said, patapusin ko na lang si... Akala niya Chief Justice pa rin siya nagdi-decide doon. Patapusin ko na lang si Senator Escudero. Kung kami ang magtatanong doon, and we really had many things to ask. Especially he had invoked, sinabi niya na good moral conduct siya, modest lives, yung mga resibo ko, nahawak-hawak sa mga barong Tagalog, lahat. Ang dami namin gustong tanungin. Pero at his state, na may naka-plug dito, may ganyan, magiging unkind naman kami. At okay naman na. In fact, we thank him so much for his admission. Di ba yung mga admission niya? Yun ang kailangan ng kaso namin. Kaya yun ang point ko kanina. I didn't even go to our evidence na. Yung mga na-prove namin na pera, na 35 million, barya lang pala yun Dahil yung kanya, nakita man natin, alos 200 million piso na hindi naka-declare. At for the Chief Justice to say that, kasi napakasimple yung batas 64216, may confidentiality. 6713, inuutosan ka na mag-declare. So, pwede mong, ikaw, nasa sayo Anong susundin mo? Mag-declare ka o hindi? Kung mag-declare ka, wala naman, that's why Senator Enrile was asking, ano bang damage nung tao pag i-declare mo na ikaw ay may pera? Wala talaga. Kaya, palusot lang talaga.
At saka, siguro, gusto namin klaruhin yung cross-examination na yan, yung cross-examination na yan, it was almost unanimous decision by the prosecution team, including the private prosecutors. Kasi aside from yung health consideration na na-mention ni Congressman Fariñas, yung Tuesday testimony ni Chief Justice, ang unanimous sentiment among the prosecutors, nakatulong sa amin It has further strengthened our case, especially yung admissions. He admitted that he has dollar accounts na 4 and 3 peso accounts. So yun yung yun yung decision namin because sabi namin kung if it strengthened the evidence, then no need to cross.
Hello. Kung naawa po kayo dahil mukhang naghihina siya, bakit hindi ho kayo humingi ng continuance? Total, isang araw lang siguro, ilang oras lang siguro yon para maitanong at nang malaman natin at hindi nabibitin ng taong bayan kung ano nga ang nilalaman ng kanyang yung tunay na dollar account niya.
Kung naalala nyo, nag-continuan sila nung it was Huwebes ata yun Miyerkules. Nag-continuan sila. At before that, ilang beses silang continuous, ilang 48 hours yon. So hindi kami nag-object because yung health considerations. Para sa amin kasi, surplusage na yung yung sinasabi nilang waiver. Kasi inamin niya na meron na siyang 2.4 million US dollars. Inamin na may 80.7 million pesos. Ano bang pinoprove namin sa charge namin? Na hindi niya dineclare sa SALN niya yun. So whether it is 80 million, 100 million, or 600 million pesos, is immaterial. Ang importante, hindi niya dineclare yun repeatedly for 9 years.
Sir, dun sa difference ng manner of presenting the closing arguments, very legalistic ang defense, you had a different style. Can you tell us about it? How did you decide to make it more layman?
Secret na namin yun Rudy. Well, sa amin kasi, may chemistry. Tawag lang may chemistry. May chemistry kami. Even sa Committee on Justice, di ba? It's really, nagtutulungan kami ng Senior Vice Chairman ng Committee on Justice, si Manong Rudy Fariñas. At dito talagang tandem kami, together with the other prosecutors, the spokespersons. Pero kanina, ang lalong nasabi namin ang gusto namin kasi yung nag-close yung leader namin, ang Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Sige, thank you.
And this is the end of day 43 of the impeachment trial of Chief Justice Renato Corona. We heard from the prosecution and the defense as they made their final arguments to convince the senator judges to either convict or acquit the Chief Justice. And of course, we will learn the verdict in just one day. That's tomorrow. We are expecting decision day tomorrow. The oral arguments was capped off by House Speaker Feliciano Belmonte, which summed up the entire case of the prosecution by focusing on the character of the Chief Justice. He and lead prosecutor Congressman Yel Tupas Jr. said that the Chief Justice is not morally fit to stay on as the leader of the Supreme Court and the head of the judiciary. They stressed that his admissions that he did not declare his dollar accounts and his commingled peso accounts constitute an impeachable offense and for which he must be removed in office. They also questioned and attacked his interpretation of the Foreign Currency Deposit Act. They said this should not be used as an excuse, or in the words of Congressman Rodolfo Fariñas, a palusot, so that the Chief Justice will not declare his assets as mandated by the SAL-N law and the Constitution. They also said that the other excuses, so-called excuses of the Chief Justice, do not fly, like his explanation that he began investing in dollars in the late 1960s. They said that the facts do not add up because the exchange rate that the Chief Justice mentioned would have only applied when the Chief Justice was still in grade school. But in the late 1960s, when he said he began investing in dollars, he was still then a college student. So they were trying to prove that there were inconsistencies in the testimony of the Chief Justice last week. Now, from the side of the defense, we heard first from lead defense counsel Eduardo de Los Angeles, followed by Dennis Manalo, and of course, lead counsel Serafin Cuevas. Their main argument lies on the law. They say that the Chief Justice is correct in invoking the Foreign Currency Deposit Act, which provides for the confidentiality of foreign-denominated accounts. They say that the Chief Justice should not be faulted for his interpretation because that is in the law. And if there is anything wrong in the law, what should be done is to amend or to repeal the law and not to remove the Chief Justice from office. They also questioned the prosecutors why they did not cross-examine the Chief Justice when he was here instead of raising these alleged inconsistencies in today's closing arguments. Lead defense counsel Serafin Cuevas also said that if the prosecutors are saying that the Foreign Currency Act is unconstitutional, that has no basis in jurisprudence or in the decisions of the Supreme Court. He said that from the start, the impeachment complaint was not valid because the impeachment of the Chief Justice was rushed. Not all the 188 lawmakers were able to read that and to attest to its contents. He said that the Chief Justice was denied due process. But a crucial episode in today's trial is actually when Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile began raising questions to the defense. First, he said, would there be any damage or injury if the Chief Justice declared his dollar accounts? He also asked lead defense counsel Serafin Cuevas about the culpable violation of the Constitution. He said that if it is a command of the people as stated in the Constitution, that public officials declare all their assets, and if the Chief Justice did not do so, is that a violation? And Cuevas said that, well, if it's not intentional, then it is not. But Enrile pointed out that in the Constitution, there is no mention of any intent to either declare or not to declare. He said that the only command in the Constitution is that you declare all your assets, liabilities, and net worth. So these pronouncements from the presiding officer may be crucial in his own vote as he makes his vote tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're expecting the 23 senator judges to issue the verdict. We will start with the Senator Edgardo Angara, it will be done alphabetically. Each of them will have 2 minutes to explain their vote. The prosecution will need 16 votes to convict the Chief Justice, while the defense would need 8 votes for his acquittal. But now legal experts are saying there is an option to abstain from voting. And lastly, last to vote will be the Senate President. So it will be interesting how this all culminates tomorrow. After 43 days, this will be the judgment day. And a conviction, of course, will mean that the Chief Justice will be removed from office, and an acquittal means he will stay on and, as mentioned by Speaker Belmonte, serve the remaining 6 years of his term until 2018. Join us as we bring you this crucial and historic moment tomorrow here on Rappler.com, and thank you for staying tuned to our coverage all throughout these 4 months. I'm Ai Macaraig. Thanks for watching Rappler.